For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The Israeli military says it's rescued one of the hostages abducted in Hamas's October 7th attack, which ignited the ongoing war in Gaza. The military said today a 52-year-old was rescued in a complex operation in the southern Gaza Strip. Some 120 hostages remain in Hamas captivity. Israel's retaliatory war in Gaza has killed more than 40,400 Palestinians, according to local health officials. They say it's also displaced 90% of Gaza's 2.3 million from their homes and causing heavy destruction across the besieged territory. Meanwhile, the United Nations says it's suspending aid operations in Gaza after Israeli forces ordered evacuations from Deir al-Balah, where the UN is located, marking yet another move for the agency under deteriorating conditions. Emily Burris has more.
Evacuation orders were recently issued by Israel for the area where the UN Central Command for all aid operations is located in the territory. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, or UNRWA, is still providing health care and other assistance. Louise Wateridge is a senior communications officer for UNRWA living in Gaza. She says the conditions in Gaza are dire.
Lack of access to clean drinking water, the trash that is piling up everywhere among the population, among the conditions where they are living, sewage water, which is absolutely filthy. Again, people living among this. And desperation. When you speak to people here, when we speak to our colleagues, there is very limited hope.
Israel's military issued 16 such evacuation orders this month, and as a result, the humanitarian zone declared by Israel has shrunk to about 11% of the Gaza Strip. With a lack of access to aid and services, polio has re-emerged in Gaza for the first time in 25 years. The first case was reported in an unvaccinated 10-month-old baby who has since been diagnosed with paralysis. A UN campaign to vaccinate 95% of children in Gaza under the age of 10 is scheduled to start Saturday. I'm Emily Burris, Pacifica Radio.
The chief of Ukraine's army says they've gained more control of Russia's Kursk region, nearly 500 square miles, capturing nearly 600 Russian soldier prisoners in its operation that began earlier this month. Nighttime Russian drone and missile attacks struck across Ukraine, killing at least 5 people and injuring 16 a day after a heavy barrage pounded energy facilities and water infrastructure throughout the country. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said the attacks included 81 drones as well as cruise and ballistic missiles, some of which landed near Zaporizhia, killing a child. It's also the location of Europe's largest nuclear power plant. UN Atomic Agency watchdog is warning of the risk of nuclear disaster. Here's Rafael Grossi.
There has been activity near here. I was informed about impact of drones. I was shown some of the remnants of those and signs of the impact they had. And apart from that, the fact that we have, as I said, military activity a few miles from here, a few kilometers from here, make it an immediate point of attention.
Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Donald Trump, the Republican presidential nominee, is calling a planned September 10th debate into question with Democratic candidate Kamala Harris as the two differ on debate rules. Trump picked up the endorsement of Hawaii's former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, who called Trump a president of peace in contrast to the Biden-Harris administration Monday.
He not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace. The same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as This administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world.
Trump and Biden may not have started any wars. They both contributed to them, and Trump escalated hostilities with Iran when he assassinated General Soleimani and ramped up military strikes in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. Gabbard is the second former Democrat to endorse Trump after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suspended his presidential campaign to endorse Trump Friday. The Department of Justice is asking a federal appeals court to reinstate special counsel Jack Smith's prosecution against Trump for withholding classified documents after leaving the White House, then lying to federal investigators about it. A Trump-appointed district judge, Eileen Cannon, threw out the case after concluding Smith's appointment as special counsel was unconstitutional. Jack Smith's team is appealing, arguing the appointment of a special counsel is routine. Vice President Kamala Harris has a new advertising push to draw attention to her plan to build 3 million new homes over 4 years. The Democratic presidential nominee is highlighting her plan in a new minute-long ad that uses her personal experience of growing up in rental housing while her mother had saved for a decade before being able to buy a home. Harris campaigns in Georgia tomorrow, Wednesday, where Biden beat Trump in 2020 by nearly 12,000 votes. The Georgia and National Democratic parties are suing the state's election board to block 2 recent rules it passed that could be used by county officials who want to refuse to certify an election, potentially causing delays in finalizing the state's results this November, according to the suit. It argues the rules violate a state law that makes certification a mandatory duty and exceeds the board's authority, which is now dominated by MAGA Republicans allied with Trump. A federal judge in Texas has temporarily blocked the Biden administration's new program that provides undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens a path to citizenship. The order Monday by District Judge Campbell Barker comes after 16 Republican-led states challenged the program in a lawsuit filed last week after the program officially launched and began accepting applications. It's estimated to benefit some 500,000 immigrants and mixed-status families across the country, plus about 50,000 of their children. The Republican-led states accused the Biden administration of bypassing Congress for what they said was blatant political purposes. I'm Christina Onestad reporting for Pacifica Radio.